You wake up before your alarm, your eyes open in the darkness, and for a moment you have no idea why. But somewhere inside your brain, a clock has already decided that it is time. Your ancestors lived this way for hundreds of thousands of years. No phone, no buzzing alarm, no glowing numbers beside the bed. Just darkness, changing light, temperature, hunger, and a brain quietly keeping track of time. And the strange part is that your body still knows how to do it. Your alarm clock may be modern. Your ability to wake up on time is ancient. Every morning, something inside you pushes you toward consciousness before you have even opened your eyes. Sometimes it happens so precisely that you wake a few seconds before the alarm. That feels like coincidence, but the real answer is far stranger. Your brain is not simply turning off at night and turning back on in the morning. It is running a biological timing system that has been tracking the day since long before humans existed. You have a clock inside your brain. Not a tiny mechanical clock. A group of specialized cells that responds to light and helps coordinate thousands of processes throughout your body. Scientists call this the circadian system. Circadian simply means roughly a day. Your body temperature rises and falls on a schedule. Your hormones change on a schedule. Your alertness changes on a schedule. Even the timing of digestion and metabolism is influenced by this internal rhythm. And one of the most important pieces sits deep inside your brain. It is called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. The name sounds complicated. Its job is surprisingly simple. It helps tell your body what time it is. This tiny structure receives information from your eyes, especially information about light. When morning arrives, light enters your eyes and sends a powerful signal into the brain. Day has started. That signal helps reset your internal clock so it stays synchronized with the outside world. Why would your ancestors need such a system? Because the world around them was already running on a schedule. The sun rose, the sun set, temperatures changed, animals became active, plants opened and closed. Predators hunted at particular times. Food was easier or harder to find depending on the hour. Long before anyone invented a clock, the environment itself was the clock, and your ancestors were constantly exposed to its signals. Morning light was bright and unavoidable. Night was dark. There was no bedroom lamp glowing beside the pillow, no TV illuminating the walls, no phone screen waiting to be checked at midnight. Darkness meant something. Your brain noticed it. Your body began preparing for sleep. Then morning light arrived. Your body noticed that too. But light was not the only signal. Temperature mattered, activity mattered, food mattered, social routines mattered. All of these signals helped your body estimate where it was in the day. Think about what happens when you travel across several time zones. You can land in another country while your watch says afternoon, even though your body feels like it is the middle of the night. Your internal clock has not caught up. That uncomfortable feeling is jet lag. Your environment has changed faster than your biology can adjust. Your ancestors rarely experienced anything like that. The sun did not suddenly move 6 time zones east. Their days were tied to the same sky. Of course, that does not mean ancient humans woke at exactly the same minute every morning. They did not. And they probably did not all sleep in one perfectly synchronized block either. Human sleep is flexible. It responds to age, season, temperature, safety, social activity, illness, food availability, and many other conditions. But beneath that flexibility is a powerful rhythm. Your body expects a repeating cycle of light and darkness. That rhythm becomes especially obvious when you try to wake up without an alarm. You decide the night before that you need to wake at 6. You go to sleep, then, somehow, you open your eyes at 5:57. How did your brain know? Part of the answer is expectation. Your brain is constantly predicting what will happen next. If you repeatedly wake at the same time, your body begins preparing for that event before it happens. Hormones shift. Body temperature begins changing. Your sleep becomes lighter. Your brain becomes easier to wake. One hormone is especially important here: cortisol. You may have heard of cortisol as the stress hormone. That description is incomplete. Cortisol is also part of your normal daily rhythm. Under healthy conditions, cortisol tends to rise around the time you wake, helping your body transition toward alertness. Your ancestors did not need to know the word cortisol. Their bodies were already using it. And this is where your ancient biology becomes surprisingly visible. You may lie in bed tonight thinking you need an alarm to wake you, but your body is already preparing for tomorrow morning. The alarm is often just the final signal. The deeper system has been running all night. Researchers have spent decades studying this biological clock. One of the most important figures was the chronobiologist Colin Pittendrake, whose work helped establish modern understanding of biological rhythms in animals. Another major researcher was Jürgen Aschoff, who studied human and animal rhythms under controlled conditions and showed how strongly these internal cycles could persist even when normal environmental cues were removed. Then there were the experiments that placed people in unusual environments. No sunrise, no sunset, no ordinary clocks, sometimes no obvious indication of what time it was. And yet the human body continued generating daily rhythms. That revealed something important. Your body does not simply react to the clock on the wall. It contains its own timing system. Later, researchers identified the molecular machinery behind these rhythms. Scientists Jeffrey Hall, Michael Rosbash, and Michael Young helped uncover genes involved in the biological clock, work that eventually earned them the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. Their research revealed something almost unbelievable. The cells in your body contain molecular feedback systems that help create approximately 24-hour rhythms. Your biological clock is not just an idea, it is built into your cells. So when your ancestors woke with the dawn, they were not consciously deciding that it was morning. Their biology was responding to a world that had been repeating the same basic pattern for millions of years. Light, darkness, light, darkness. Again and again. But there is an important twist. Your ancestors did not necessarily wake up because the sun was shining directly into their faces. Sometimes something else happened first. The environment became noisy. Birds began calling, other members of the group moved around. Children woke, animals became active. A fire needed attention, temperature changed, a hunter needed to leave, a gathering needed to begin. The morning was a collection of signals. Your brain was very good at combining them. And this matters because human beings are social animals. Your sleep schedule is not controlled by your brain alone. Other people influence it. If everyone around you gets up, eats, moves, talks, and starts working, your body receives a powerful message. The day has begun. That may help explain why sleep patterns can change dramatically depending on lifestyle. A person living in a modern city can stay awake long after sunset because artificial light makes night look strangely like day. Electricity changed the environment, then television changed it, then computers, then phones. Now you can lie in a dark room at 2 in the morning while staring into a rectangle that is brighter than anything your ancestors could have seen at that hour. Your brain receives mixed messages. The environment says night, the screen says something else, and your biological clock has to interpret the contradiction. This is one reason modern sleep can feel so strange. You have an ancient timing system living inside an environment that can ignore the sun. But even modern technology cannot completely erase your internal rhythm. Turn off the lights, stay away from your phone, sleep at a consistent time, wake at a consistent time, get bright light in the morning. Your body begins rebuilding a predictable schedule. You're not creating the rhythm from nothing. You're giving an old system the signals it evolved to use. There is another reason your ancestors may have seemed naturally synchronized with morning. Their lives were less separated from environmental changes. A modern person can wake inside a sealed room, check the time on a screen, walk through artificial lighting, eat breakfast under electric lights, and spend hours without seeing the sky. Your ancestors could not do that. The sky was part of the daily schedule. Morning light was one of the strongest signals their brains received. Night darkness was another. Seasonal changes were unavoidable. Winter nights became longer. Summer days became longer. Temperature shifted. Food availability changed. The entire environment kept reminding the body what season and time it was. But your ancestors were not perfect sleepers. They woke during the night. They sometimes slept poorly. Babies cried. Illness interrupted sleep. Cold interrupted sleep. Danger interrupted sleep. Pregnancy changed sleep. Hunger changed sleep. And if you woke in the middle of the night, there was no guarantee you would immediately fall back asleep. That is important because modern people sometimes imagine ancient sleep as perfectly natural and effortless. It was not. Ancient life had its own sleep problems. The difference is that the problems came from different sources. A modern person might wake because of a notification. An ancient person might wake because an animal moved nearby. A modern person might stay awake because of work tomorrow. An ancient person might stay awake because the fire was dying. The brain was dealing with the same basic challenge. Is it safe to sleep? Is it time to wake? Is the environment changing? Should you remain alert? Sleep is not simply the absence of consciousness. It is a biological decision constantly influenced by your surroundings. And waking is part of that decision. Your brain does not flip a switch from asleep to awake. It gradually shifts the balance. Sleep pressure has built up. Your internal clock reaches a certain phase. Hormones begin changing. Body temperature rises. Light reaches your eyes. Your brain becomes more alert. Then consciousness returns. Sometimes slowly, sometimes instantly, and sometimes just before your alarm. That last one is the part that feels almost magical. You set an alarm for 7, you wake at 6:59. You look at the clock 1 minute early. It feels like your brain somehow predicted the future. In reality, your brain has been predicting the future constantly. That is one of its most important jobs. It learns patterns, it notices repetition, it prepares your body for events before they happen. If you wake at 7 every morning for long enough, 7 o'clock stops being a surprise. Your body starts preparing for it. That is why consistency can make waking easier. And it is also why irregular schedules can make waking harder. When your sleep time changes constantly, your biological clock receives conflicting information. Monday says wake at 6. Tuesday says wake at 10. Wednesday says sleep at 2. Thursday says wake before sunrise. Your brain can adapt, but adaptation takes time. Your ancestors had something modern life often removes: a stronger relationship with predictable environmental cues. The sun rose, the sun set, the darkness returned. The morning came back. The cycle continued. Your body evolved inside that repetition. So the next time you wake a few seconds before your alarm, do not think your brain has somehow developed a superpower. Think of something older. Your body is remembering a world in which there were no alarms to depend on. A world where morning was not announced by a ringtone. It was announced by light, by temperature, by movement, by sound, by other people waking, by the environment itself. Your alarm clock may tell you what time it is, but your brain was keeping time long before clocks existed. And tonight, when you close your eyes, that ancient clock will not stop. It will keep counting, quietly, deep inside you, until sometime tomorrow morning, before the alarm has a chance to speak, your body may already know that it is time to wake up.